Hello, good evening. We are doing it this way instead of this way because something's going on with Facebook Lives, and when you do it this way, it's all funky. So, but welcome to tonight. Today is, what day is today? Is today Thursday?
Let me check.
I don't even know. Welcome to story time. It's okay.
Oh, Neil's running away.
I know, but you're not going to do this tonight. Just, we'll wave to them. Hello. And, all right. I am all lost with what day today is. I think today is Thursday. Is it Thursday?
Yep.
It's Thursday. Yay. Okay, so I'm not all lost. All right, come in and cuddle. And we are going to read The Incredibles tonight for story time.
Just number one.
All right, come in. Cuddle in. The other way. Come on. There we go. All right, so here we go. So, again, we have another series of books that we bought when Cassandra was young, and they are really coming in handy. So tonight, tonight we are reading from The Incredibles.
Number one.
Number one? Is this the first story?
Yes.
Well, I guess it is if it was from Cassandra.
No, it's not the first story. It's the first movie.
First movie. Okay, sit up so that you can see the book. Sit
I
up.
can't see the book. What do
Come on, sit up.
I'm trying. Ow.
All right. So today we were out in the backyard and we were raking up all the leaves and everything, and it's looking good back there. All right. So here we go. The Incredibles. In the city of Muniburg, everyone slept soundly at night. That's because they knew that the Supers, a group of heroes with a special power, would keep them safe. One night, Mr. Incredible, a super who was incredibly strong, was on his way to his wedding when he heard about a robbery that was in progress. He tried to stop the thief. Okay, you're moving around too much. You got to stay still tonight. He tried to stop the thief. While he was there, a boy named Buddy flew in using some rocket boots that he had made. He didn't have any powers, but he was determined to become Mr. Incredible's sidekick. But the super didn't want a sidekick. "I work alone," he said. "Go home." Buddy didn't listen. He tried to show how helpful he could be, and the bank robber got away. Mr. Incredible was upset and made it very clear that he did not want Buddy's help ever again. There's the picture. Can you see the picture?
Mm-hmm. Where's the robbery?
It's already taken place. Then Mr. Incredible went to the church. He was getting married to Elastigirl, a super who could stretch her body into all kinds of shapes. And he was very late. Okay, come and sit. You're not going to be moving around that much today. Can you sit up, please? Okay. He was very late, but she forgave him, and they married in front of their super friends. They were very happy together. One day, Mr. Incredible saved somebody who didn't want to be saved. He was sued. And it wasn't long before the rest of the supers were sued for doing their good deeds too. The government decided lawsuits were too expensive, so they put all of the heroes in a super relocation program and gave them all new names and regular jobs. The only condition was that they couldn't use their powers. That way, no one could find out who they really were, and no one could sue them. Okay.
Have some water.
Can
I have some water?
Just some water on the desk.
You got it today?
Right there. Okay, I'm going to continue. Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl became Bob and Helen Parr. They lived in the suburbs and had a house and 3 kids, Violet, Dash, and Jack Jack.
Who was born last?
Who do you think?
Jack Jack.
Yeah, come sit and sit up. Don't lie. Sit up.
Who was born first?
Who do you think?
Violet?
Violet.
Because like baby, kid, big kid.
Yeah. Okay. They tried to live a normal life, but sometimes things got a little crazy around the house. After all, Violet could generate a force field and turn invisible, and Dash had super speed. And little Jack Jack didn't seem to have any powers yet.
He has powers now.
We do know that he does now. Come sit over here, actually, so you can see. Come sit here.
Lay down.
No, come on up. All right, you're going to help me. You hold the book, because it's heavy.
Can you go?
Nope. Bob worked at an insurance company, but he missed his old life. One night, he and his friend Lucius, who had been a super called, what was the name? Frozone, used their powers to save some people from a fire. Unfortunately, they didn't realize someone was watching from the shadows.
Who?
Ooh, I don't know. We're going to find out. Before long, the person who'd seen them contacted Bob. Her name was Mirage, and she knew that he had been a super. She had a top secret job for him. Bob decided to take it. After all, he missed doing his super work. Do you want to show the picture?
It's heavy.
I know, just turn it around. There we go. Okay. Bob put on his old super suit and told Helen he was going on a business trip. Then he got on a plane with Mirage and they flew to an island. She told him the government... Put your arm down so I can see. She told him it was a government testing facility, and they lost control of an experiment robot called Omnidroid. It's a learning robot, she told him. Every moment you spend fighting, it only increases its knowledge on how to beat you. The incredible... Move your hand. Mr. Incredible used all his strength against Omnidroid. He was finally able to trick it into defeating itself. When Mr. Incredible went home, he felt like a new man. He started to work out, and he got all his old friend Edna Mode to design him a new, improved super suit.
Can you show it?
I'll show it because it's heavy.
Ooh, I like
the page?
Oh,
Oh, right.
goodness, it's new.
Okay. Soon, Bob got another call from Mirage about more work on the island, and he eagerly agreed to go. But when he got there, he realized he had been set up. It turned out that Mirage's boss was Buddy, the same boy who wanted to be Mr. Incredible's sidekick long ago. But he wasn't a boy anymore. He had grown up, and he now called himself... Do you remember? Syndrome. He was still bitter about how Mr. Incredible had treated him. All I wanted was to help you, Syndrome cried. He invented the Omnidroid, and he had an evil plan to use it to become more powerful. He tried to capture Mr. Incredible, but the super escaped. Later, he snuck back into Syndrome's headquarters to learn more about the villain's scheme. It wasn't long before Syndrome found him and trapped him with giant blobs of goo.
Oh, those blobs of goo?
Those are the blobs of goo. Remember? Do you remember the movie?
Yeah, the black?
Yeah. Meanwhile, back home, Helen began to suspect Bob was up to something. She went to visit Edna Mode and explained that she could make Bob a new... Who explained that she'd made Bob a new supersuit. In fact, she had designed suits for the whole family. Each suit contained a homing device, the designer explained. Helen left the children with the babysitter and activated the device. Then she put on her supersuit and borrowed a jet. As she flew towards the homing signal, she discovered that Dash and Violet had stowed away with her. Just then, a missile hit the plane. Syndrome had seen them, and the plane went down, and Elastigirl and the children landed in the ocean. Elastigirl turned herself into the shape of a boat, and Dash used his super speed to power them through the water. When they got to the shore, Elastigirl left the children in a cave and told them to stay put. Hold on. Then she went to find her husband. Hold on. There we go. Okay, you turn the page. When Helen was gone, okay, you guys sit still. When Helen was gone, Syndrome launched a rocket. Its exhaust traveled through the cave. Violet and Dash were in. The children escaped just in time and ended in the jungle. Soon they set off one of Syndrome's alarms. It wasn't long before the guards came after them. "Dash, run!" yelled Violet. She turned herself invisible and hurried away. Dash took off in a blur of motion. This was the first time he was able to use his power against the bad guys. The guards went after him in flying ships called velocipods. That's kind of like a velociraptor, isn't it? Dash grabbed a vine and swung on it, but it snapped. "Ah!" he cried as he fell and hit the top of a velocipod. He punched the guard, then jumped off the ship right before it hit the cliff. He zoomed across the top of the ocean and back into the jungle, where he ran into Violet. She put up a force field around them, and together they fought the guards as best they could.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
Yeah.
All right. Inside Syndrome's headquarters, Elastigirl had located her husband. Mirage had just released him from his prison cell. Mirage had finally realized just how evil Syndrome really was, and she warned Mr. Incredible and his wife that the kids had set off the security alarm. Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl raced to the jungle to save their children. When they got there, they saw that Violet and Dash were using their powers on their guards and holding their own. Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl joined the fight. The family was winning until Syndrome showed up. The villain used the Immobi ray on them so that they couldn't move. Then he trapped them in a high-tech suspension beam and flew off to the city of Metroville, where the Omnidroid was already wreaking havoc. Syndrome planned to prove to everyone that he was the hero by showing up and defending the robot. No one would ever know that he'd made the robot, and he would become a bigger hero than Mr. Incredible had ever been. These books are heavy.
Because I have lots of pages.
I know. Can you move your hand? Luckily, Violet was able to use a force field to break the ray holding her. She freed the rest of the family and they flew to the city in a van that was attached to a rocket. When they arrived, the Omnidroid was completely destroyed.
With water.
What?
With water.
With what?
Water.
Where?
Near the city.
Oh, yeah, that comes later though. When they arrived, the Omnidroid was completely out of control, destroying everything in sight. Syndrome tried to use the remote control to stop it, but it even knocked him out. It was up to the supers to save the day. Individually, they were awesome, but as a team, they were unstoppable. Their old friend Frozone showed up, and together they defeated the Omnidroid. And the people of the city cheered that the supers had returned. Okay.
Last page.
Last page. Put your hand down. When the Incredibles got home, Syndrome was there, and he had taken Jack and was flying above the house. All of a sudden, the baby turned into a mini monster. The villain dropped him in shock, but Jack wasn't done. He ripped a valve off of Syndrome's rocket boots, and the villain plummeted to the ground, gone forever. Luckily, Jack ended up safe in his mother's arms. The Incredibles went back to their normal lives, but they were ready to use their superpowers to keep the world safe again as a family. The end. Are you covering up the next one? What is the next one? Next one's A Bug's Life.
It's a team.
All right, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that little story. Stop. I hope you enjoyed that story, and we're going to head off to bed. We are a tired family from working in the backyard, so it's an early night for us tonight. So thank you guys for popping in. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you guys are staying safe, and we will see you another time.
You never said anything.
That's okay,
Why?
because I don't have to. They were listening to the story. Have a good night, you guys. Thank you for watching. Say good night.
Bye. Good night. Well,
You're not going to say good night? Okay, I'll do it.
I said good night.
Well, you usually push off.
What?
Bye. Oh, you're going to do it now? Okay.
Oh, nearly so old.
You're now saying good night.
Nearly so. Bye bye. Oh, I just couldn't go over the whole thing. Good.
Push finish.
And